UN 영어뉴스 The most Istanbul thing to do in Istanbul. More than any monument, museum or tour, taking a ferry helps visitors not only understand Istanbul, but fall in love with it. In many ways, the Bosporus Strait that bisects Istanbul is a metaphor for the Turkish city itself. Its predecessor, Constantinople, rose from the Bosporus banks to become the seat of the Roman, Byzantine, and the Ottoman empires, making it the only place in history to have been the capital of consecutive Christian and Islamic empires. Thanks to the strait that it straddles, Istanbul is the only city in the world spanning two continents, a cultural and geographical bridge between east and west. While many Ottoman sultans proposed building an actual bridge across the Bosporus, it was boats and later ferries that were responsible for connecting the city. The first bridge that united the two continents wasn't built until 1973. All the while, ferries floated back and forth across the strait, linking the city's diverse Turkish, Greek, Armenian, Arab, Bulgarian, Jewish, and Russian populations. Today, Istanbul is a sprawling 15.5 million person megalopolis, the largest in Europe, surrounded by a network of waterways that bound and divide it. The city rides atop 7 hills, showcasing everything from Byzantine palaces and melon-colored Ottoman mosques to Armenian-inspired opera houses, Anglican churches, and metallic modern art museums. As men push wooden carts along the city's cobblestone alleys, hipsters and tourists bop in and out of sybaritic nightclubs and pubs until the early morning. Here, the past, present, Europe and Asia are all one. Because of its unique location and the sheer size, Istanbul has always been a place best seen from the water. In fact, only from the upper deck of one of the city's many public ferries can you begin to appreciate its breadth and best notice its confluence of cultures. It is simply too big to understand by land. So while many visitors beeline to Istanbul's historic peninsula to see the Hippodrome of Constantinople, the Hagia Sophia Mosque, and the Topkapi Palace, boarding a ferry not only lets you see many of these sites framed by sweeping vistas, but it also helps visitors understand how the city's layered past fits into its dynamic present. Istanbul is Europe's largest city and has always best been viewed from the water. Since many visitors have historically approached Istanbul from the water, these ferries allow travelers to view many of the city's most iconic sites as they were once seen, including views of the Turkish Rococo-style Dolmabahce Palace, the nearly 2,400-year-old Maiden's Tower, and the splendid Haydarpaşa railway station. Istanbul's ferries have also helped shape the city's unique culture and development. As Istanbul's population swelled in the mid-19th century, the introduction of public ferries in 1844 allowed people living along the Bosporus Strait, the nearby Marmara Sea Inlet, and the Golden Horn estuary to easily commute between Istanbul's various waterside neighborhoods. In the 1970s, as residents of Central and Eastern Anatolia migrated to Istanbul in search of employment, bringing their different languages and food customs with them, many crossed to the European continent for the first time on one of the city's ferries. Today, tourists can ride the ferry from the Asian pier of Kadıköy to the European edge of Karakoy, flanked by the famed Galata Tower and Bridge. The ride reveals how Istanbul is one of the world's great cultural melting pots. On board, you are likely to hear Greek, Armenian, and languages from across the Caucasus. Performers often belt out arabesque tunes on their dabka drums, while Kurdish musicians perform on their lute-like electro baglama as passengers cross continents. Perhaps more than anywhere else, a ferry ride allows you to glimpse Istanbul's deep and diverse roots in full focus. Ferries can also easily whisk travelers to hard-to-reach neighborhoods. For instance, the delightful seaside village of Kamnika could take more than 2 hours to reach by land transport from the historic peninsula. But because Kamnika has its own ferry pier, where you can sit in a delightful cafe and try the area's famous Kamnika yogurt sprinkled with powdered sugar, travelers can avoid Istanbul's notorious traffic and arrive from the historic peninsula in just an hour. There are also hourly trips to 4 of the Princess Islands in the Sea of Marmara, which are completely inaccessible by land. There you can rent bicycles, go for a swim, and eat fresh fried fish, and drink anise flavored raki, Turkey's national drink, before heading back in time for an evening in the city. Click the play button above to watch the video, The One Obsession Everyone in Istanbul Has. Over the years, passengers have also developed their own rites and rhythms. Aboard the city's ferry boats, right in the morning, and you are likely to spot commuters grabbing a circular sesame Smith bagel or a poagaca pastry before boarding the ship. They then sit side by side with strangers, ordering one another gilt-rimmed glasses of tea and swapping newspapers before the start of their work days. Ferries continue to be the symbol of Istanbul. Ferries carry not only passengers but also the culture, traditions and habits of the society, wrote Adil Bali, a local journalist, listening to the concert of street musicians at the ferry dock, leaning on the railings on the ferry, reading newspapers or books while sipping tea, and watching the painting of Istanbul, where the seagulls dance, are all part of this culture. Istanbul's public ferries carry roughly 40 million passengers a year, making the Bosporus one of the world's busiest waterways. But in addition to the many mosques and minarets lining the shores, passengers may also see pods of dolphins, shearwater birds, and one of the city's most ubiquitous creatures, seagulls. The birds are known to glide alongside the ferries, and they have become so synonymous with the boats that share Hatlari, the ferry's operating company, adopted seagulls' black, white, and yellow-beaked colors on its logo. If you wish to experience a local custom about a ferry trip, don't forget to buy at least 2 semis before you start it, one for you and another for seagulls. Throw the little semis pieces and see how masterful Bosporus seagulls catch them in the air, said local tour guide Aysegul Elif Sofoglu. Seagulls are synonymous with Istanbul's ferry system. In addition to sightseeing and wildlife spotting, Istanbul's ferries also provide incomparable people watching. Look around and you will inevitably notice the many people who can Istanbul home, well-heeled businessmen in suits, hawkers from Anatolia trying to sell trinkets to Iranian tourists, elderly Turkish women in Pulse sharing cookies with their compatriots in headscarves, and so much more. Despite the changing times as society divides along cultural issues, ideologically left or right, religious or not. The love of ferries remains one of the key themes for the city residents, said Yoluk Isik, who rides Istanbul's ferries several times a week. It's one of the few binding experiences that we still have. In a city where street vendors shout their inventory, oil tankers plying the Bosphorus blare their horns, and the amplified call of 5 daily prayers rings from thousands of mosques. Ferries also offer a meditative escape from Istanbul's barrage of noise. Hikmet Sirlak rides the ferry to feel the cool breeze and the smell of the salty seas. He loves the ferry so much that he decided to move to the Asian banks of the city so he could commute by boat to the Grand Bazaar, where he sells antique carpets and kilns. People usually look down at the ground to and from work, but here I get to look up, he said, watching the waning yellows and oranges from the sunset aboard a ferry. Ferries also provide some of the best people watching experiences in Istanbul. Some of Istanbul's decommissioned ferries have gone on to become cafes, museums, hotels, and wedding halls. Others have been renovated in the historical Harlig shipyard, which has been active since 1455 and is the oldest in the world, and in a city where waterfront real estate is quickly snatched up by developers. The ferry piers offer some of the last bits of public seafront access, including floating exhibition spaces and libraries. More so than any monument, museum, or tour, taking a ferry helps visitors not only understand Istanbul, but fall in love with it. Sinem Dedetas, head of Istanbul's ferry line, thinks this is why the boats have inspired poems, paintings, novels, songs, and films for nearly 200 years. The best way to discover Istanbul, she said, is to hop on a ferry and watch the Bosphorus.